Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is the Curiosity Compendium. You know, living in New York, you get used to seeing people from everywhere. You hear languages you can't place, see styles that blend cultures in ways you've never imagined. It makes you think a lot about identity, about where we come from, and the stories we tell to make sense of ourselves. And sometimes, the most puzzling stories about identity aren't found in a bustling modern city, but in a quiet field in medieval England. Picture this. It's the 12th century, near the village of Woolpit in Suffolk. The harvest is underway, and one day, reapers working the fields near some ancient wolf pits, those are traps, by the way, stumble upon two children, a boy and a girl. But these aren't just lost, muddy village kids. Their skin is a startling, vivid green. They're wearing clothes of an unfamiliar material, and they're speaking a language no one can understand. Terrified and confused, they're taken to the local landowner, Sir Richard de Calne. And just like that, one of history's most enduring and bizarre mysteries begins. This is the story of the Green Children of Woolpit, a tale recorded by two 12th century chroniclers, William of Newburgh and Ralph of Coggeshall. It's not a fairy tale from some later period. It's presented by these writers as a strange but factual event that occurred within living memory. So what do we do with this? Do we dismiss it as pure folklore? Or is there a fragile thread of truth here? A real historical incident that got wrapped in the interpretive lens of a pre-scientific world? Let's walk through what they said happened. The children were, by all accounts, utterly alien. Their green hue wasn't just a stain, it was the color of their skin. They refused all food offered to them at first, seemingly on the verge of starvation. Then, they saw some raw beanstalks, still with the pods. They gestured frantically, and when given the stalks, they opened them to find the beans inside. But they didn't know how to eat them. They didn't understand you had to take the bean out of the pod. Someone showed them, and that became the only food they would eat for months. Eventually, they broadened their diet, and as they did, that famous green tint began to fade. They were baptized, but tragedy struck soon after. The boy, always the sicklier of the two, passed away. The girl, however, thrived. She learned English, her skin lost its green color, and she was eventually employed as a servant in Sir Richard's household. And when she could finally tell her story, she gave an account that only deepened the mystery. She said she and her brother came from a place called St. Martin's Land, a twilight realm where the sun never rose, and the light was perpetual, like the glow just after sunset. All the people there, she claimed, were green. They lived in a world of constant dimness. She described a great, luminous river separating their land from another bright country. One day, she and her brother were following their father's flocks into a cavern. They heard the loud sound of bells, which is fascinating because bells were a quintessential sound of medieval Christian Europe, and, drawn by the noise, they wandered through the darkness. They emerged, dazzled and terrified, into the blinding brightness of the Woolpit harvest sun. And that's where the reapers found them. Now, as an engineer, my mind immediately goes to practical explanations. Could the green skin be a symptom of something? The most common theory is chlorosis, a form of severe anemia often caused by malnutrition, which can give the skin a greenish pallor. A diet desperately deficient in iron. It fits. They were starving when found. Their initial diet of only beans, while strange, might have been the first food that didn't make them sick. As their nutrition improved, the green tint faded. That's a solid medical explanation, but it doesn't explain everything about their story, does it? What about their origin? The girl's description is so oddly specific. A land of twilight. One popular historical theory is that they were Flemish orphans. During this period, King Henry II had indeed persecuted Flemish immigrants in that region. There were violent clashes. Perhaps these children were survivors, hiding in the dense, dark forests of Thetford, a known Flemish area. Their strange clothing could have been Flemish wool. Their language, Flemish, would have been incomprehensible to the Suffolk locals. And the land of twilight could be a child's memory of the deep, shaded woods where they were lost and starving. The luminous river might be a distorted memory of the sea. They could have wandered through one of the many underground mine tunnels in the area. Those wolf pits were often part of mining works, and emerged, disoriented, into the light. The bells they heard? The bells of Woolpit Church. It's a remarkably coherent theory. It takes a historical tragedy and shows how it could be processed through the terrified mind of a child, and then through the medieval chronicler's desire for a wondrous tale. But here's where I personally get stuck, and where the story transcends just a puzzle to solve. Why did this story persist? Why did two separate, relatively serious historians deem it worth recording? I think it's because the Green Children aren't just a medical or historical anomaly. They are the ultimate metaphor. They represent every single human fear and curiosity about the other. They are the lost, the displaced, the immigrant, the refugee, appearing in a settled community with a completely different reality. Their green skin is the visible mark of their difference. Their strange language is the barrier to understanding. Their initial inability to eat the local food. That's the cultural shock we all experience when dropped into a place where even the most basic acts are unfamiliar. I think about my own journey from Bangladesh to New York. I didn't emerge from a wolf pit with green skin, but I know that feeling of being in a world where the light is different, where the sounds, the bells, if you will, are unfamiliar, where you have to learn, step by step, how to navigate a new reality. You shed some of your old colors to blend in, to survive, and hopefully to thrive, just like that green girl did. The story endures because it's about assimilation in the most literal, physical sense. It's about the trauma and the wonder of being transported from one world into another, and the profound loss that comes with it, symbolized by the brother who doesn't make it. In the end, the girl from St. Martin's Land married a local man from King's Lynn, they say. She lived a normal, ungreen life. She became, for all intents and purposes, a woman of Woolpit. But her story lingered, a whisper of a world just beyond the edge of the known. That's the power of this mystery. It doesn't matter if it was anemia, or Flemish orphans, or something else entirely. What matters is that for nearly 1,000 years, this tale has forced us to look at a pair of lost, green children and see ourselves, our fears, our curiosities, and our incredible capacity to adapt and find home in the most unexpected of places. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive into a medieval mystery. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this has been the Curiosity Compendium, a production of Light Knot Studios. If this story sparked a bit of wonder in you, please share the episode with someone else who loves a good mystery. And for more deep dives into history's forgotten corners, make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. You can find more about our work at Light Knot Studios. That's lightknotstudios.com. Until next time, stay curious.